And good day. This is the Eye of the Storm podcast with the big picture technical update for the S&P 500 being recorded on Saturday, February the 17th, 2024. And today I will be doing two separate recordings, one for the S&P, one for the NASDAQ. So starting here with the S&P 500, I am going to flip quickly to my weekly chart, do a quick overview, starting with the cash market. So in January of 2022, the market reached a high of 48.18, and at that point, I had counted out and the completion point for cycle wave 3. That remains in place. So at the time, it was the all-time high. That high has been exceeded in cycle wave 4. So we remain within a cycle wave 4 corrective counter trend rally. So within cycle wave 4, it will consist of three waves labeled primary degree, labeled A, B, C. We have completed primary wave A in October of 2022. We remain within primary wave B, which will consist of three waves of intermediate degree, also labeled ABC. So within that, we have intermediate wave A, which completed in July of 2023, intermediate wave B, which completed in October of 2023. And so we remain within intermediate wave C. Intermediate wave C will consist of five waves of minor degree. I'm going to bring this down to my daily chart. And those five waves of minor degree will be labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we are within minor wave 5 of intermediate wave C of primary wave B. So we're within this final leg up. So within minor wave 5, it will consist of five waves of minute degree. And here we have minute 1, 2, 3, and 4. So accordingly then, under my count as it currently stands, we are in the final fifth wave up of minute degree to complete minor wave 5, which in turn will complete intermediate wave C, which in turn completes primary wave B. So we are close. And just to kind of review another overview, if I go back out, we have this primary B wave is forming in the irregular B wave. And Elliott wrote about this, and what we're stating on that it's irregular, because under normal circumstances, one would not consider a fourth wave to take out the high of the third wave, being that wave 4 corrects wave 3. But there have been instances, and going in both directions, where again that fourth wave will produce an irregular move within the B portion of that wave. So we're in an irregular B wave where it has taken out that existing high of 48.18, producing a new all-time high. Now, when that occurs, we have particular Fibonacci extensions, which then suggest or give us an indication of where the market can go within this irregular move. That first is 1.236, and that comes in here on the SPX at 51, I'm going to say 51.32. And then the next level would be 1.382, where wave B is 1.382 times the length of wave A, and that one comes in at 53.25. So we're kind of getting up there and starting to hone in on 51.32. So as I break this down, we're going to just see how close we possibly can get. Because now what I'm going to build now is I'm going to start replacing all of our Fibonacci levels that are going to guide us as we go up. Because the other thing that really happens now is we're in what I call uncharted territory. The markets have never been up this high. So these are new highs. And each day we go back above the existing, we're putting in an additional new high. And so this correlation between, well, wait a minute, new highs is really within what many are going to term a bear market. Yeah, it's a bear market rally. And so hard to kind of compress and put in, because what's really behind this right now is this increase, of course, of capital coming in to the market and right now being fed into anything artificial intelligence, anything that has to do with artificial intelligence. It is an expanding, rapidly expanding sector. And because there's so many uses of it, and the development is coming on more quickly than many people would have expected. So it's making changes in just about any of our individual sectors within our marketplace. So with that in mind, let's get down to the technicals of what we're confronting right now. So within this primary B wave, like I've just demonstrated, we are within intermediate wave C. Within the intermediate wave C, it will consist of 5 waves of minor degree, of which we have minor 1, 2, 3, and 4. And within this minor 5th wave, which will consist of 5 waves of minute degree, we've completed minute 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, one thing that I will add here, this minor 5th wave is now unfolding, in my estimation and in my opinion, it is unfolding as a diagonal triangle. So it's a finishing move. You'll find the diagonals in an A wave, sometimes in the C wave, and within a 5th wave. So diagonals can come in a 1st wave or a 5th wave. In a 5th wave, of course, then it's a finishing move. And what we're seeing within it is that it is propelling. It is starting to accelerate a little bit more than what one would expect as we push higher and higher. Now, I'm going to bring it back down. So what I've now is started to re-add Fibonacci that are going to coincide with how high can we get now? Now remember, we're just tracking it down, and as we get additional layers to apply, I can put them in. So first we had the irregular, then coming down to what the fibs are telling us for the intermediate C wave. And intermediate wave C would be equal to intermediate wave A, which of course is number 1. And that comes in at 5,219, or we can up it to 5,220 if you want. And so we can move down from there. So again, coming back in, the next one that I want to add is I'm just going to go this way, and I'm going to be putting in, we have one calculation for minor wave 5. And that calculation is that minor wave 5 on a fib basis is going to be compared to minor wave 1, or just wave 1. The 5th wave is always compared to the 1st wave. So again, because we've exceeded 2 of those fib levels already, I'm going to remove them so that we don't confuse our picture. So being that the 0.618 already exceeded, and actually is not the first most common. The first most common is 100%, and that was exceeded because that was below 5,000. So that leaves us to our next level, which is 1.618. So again, what we're doing is we're now narrowing our levels because of adding it up as the move progresses. So down here we had for the C wave. Now we're going inside there, and we're going to have our minor 5th wave as it relates to minor wave 1, 5 to 1, and its most common is 100%. That's been exceeded. Second most common, 1.618. So now we can start to estimate. It's like, okay, so that leaves the potential. That's our next resistance zone. And you're going to see right away, we have 1.236. That is for primary wave B. And within the intermediate wave C, we're in that last 5 waves up, and inside that 5th wave. So whether it gets there is not necessarily more important, because now what really comes into play is the structure. Wave C will be complete when we can count out 5 waves of minor degree, and within each one of them that we can count what the internals should also represent. So within minor wave 5, we are going to have 5 waves of minute degree, of which we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. So we're within minute wave 5. Now we've already determined that minor wave 5 is forming a diagonal triangle. So it's going to just kind of race up, but it's going to continue to, if you make that diagonal, it's going to continue to reach its pinnacle. Now, I can add one more, and it's going to be minute wave 5 to minute wave 1. Now, first of all, let me just already state, I know that the third wave is the shortest right now, that wave 1 is the longest right now. And wave 5 may come in equal to wave 1. But within a diagonal, it has been documented that most often the third wave ends up being the shortest wave. And wave 4 overlaps wave 1. So two things that happen within a triangle that can present a lot of confusion to other Elliotticians. But these are just things that happen within this triangle pattern because it is wedging. So with that in mind, so my last that I'm going to put on here is, again, we're going to compare wave 1 to wave 5. And the 618 is there. And actually, I'm going to leave it because not that it's number 1, but it's all going to be based on structure. So right now, because we've not reached it, we've only gotten a high of 5,048 in the cash. So here we have it. Now within this, I can come down again. I'm going to bring it down right away to my hourly. So we have 3, then we have 4. And we got a couple of things going on. I do consider this as 3 waves down, so it's complete. But here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Is this 1? So is it minuet wave 1 of minute wave 5? Very possible. Or is it AB, right? Because we're going to get that ABC for wave 5. And even if it was, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A of 5, right? Even though it's 5, it is 5 waves up. And now we're putting in a B wave or a wave 2. I'm going to get a 3 and a 4 and a 5. So each one you'll see all form 3s. So we have a 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5. So depending on how low this goes, maybe we don't get above here. Maybe. So I'm going to include it at 5,073, 5,075, somewhere in that hood. Yes, it should be resistance, and it may, depending on the structure, put in our finishing move. The most common is 100%. So that's 5167. So now we just added another layer, right? Minor wave 5, 1.618 comes into 5147. Primary wave B, 1.236, comes in at 5131. So now we've got a zone that begins to pick up some strength between 5130 and 5170. And pretty much anywhere in between. So our first is there. And if this completes the 5, then it's also going to complete the 5 on the minor degree, and etc., all the way back down till we get to that primary B. Now, that again is not the most common, but I'm leaving it there because it should provide some form of resistance. But here is where I'm thinking that we're going to end up. Now, if we have a full blown, now don't forget that then there's a lot of talk. We have seen other stocks that are being related to artificial intelligence just go through explosions, getting parabolic. Now, if they're included in the SPX, it's going to contribute some to the rally, to the upside. Many are part of the NASDAQ versus the other indexes. So again, it starts to get very jumpy, crazy, as we see different components go through their gyrations. So, but ultimately, we end up somewhere within our ranges that we're developing. So right now, basis the cash, I am thinking that we may have just finished A and now we're going to be inside this B. So if we had to really just take a look, let's just kind of put in, add a drawing, and I'm going to go here and put just retracements, because that's what I'm looking at right now. So right now we kind of surpassed, we're below there. So our next level is 49.93, 49.93.50 to be exact. But it can come down even further. We got the 50% of 49.80 and the 618 at 49.65, we'll call it. And that could come down in 3. So, and now this is on my hourly chart. So it's just basically, is this kind of going to be a 3? But I said it was a new high. So I think this is just the start. And then we come down and possibly get down this low. We can label it as our B of 5. And then we're going to do 5 ways up. So this remains active. But I believe that we're going to be heading up beginning of the week. Because next Wednesday is when NVIDIA reports. That's kind of the one that a lot of energy has gone into what is going to happen. So, and it's also creating an updraft for AMD. We saw AMAT come out with some pretty stellar earnings, and the stock rallied all the way up above 200, pulled back, but I would imagine that that's going to continue as well. So I don't know that AMAT is a part of the S&P, but in combination, the overflow does come in to the S&P as we see other stocks which are, such as Microsoft, Apple, that are members. Also, the Mag 7 basically is inside the SPX and the S&P 500. So all of those combined can push the index. And we might see some stronger upside on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon. Who knows? Either they're going to blow the doors off yet again, and we maybe get that final push and get up there, or, we get a bounce and a drop. We shall see. We shall see. In any case, what we have just technically is I'm looking for a little bit further down, and then a push higher. And then that's our first line in the sand, 5,075. But this is the stronger cluster of resistance, which may complete the whole story. Above that, we have a little bit right there, 52.19, and we start to build an additional cluster above surrounding the 1.382. So again, what we tend to find is the clusters come in around these levels for the primary B wave. So that also is another important factor. So the primary B wave has always had this outstanding one at 51.31, 51.32. Now we're clustering around it. So it's going to be interesting. Going over to the futures market, a little bit different, but still within reality. Let's go back out here. And so now we're going to immediately start to fill in the blanks here in the futures market. And there we have, and let me just go over here and go edit, and we're just going to take that out. And so we have the 100%. Again, there we have 1.236 at 51.16. And now we have the 100% for wave C at 52.55. So that kind of maybe a little bit closer to the 1.382. Now I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to take a look at the daily chart. And again, I need to you can make your adjustments, which I will. And because I did that on the weekly chart, I'm going to remove that because this is basis the March contract, which is the one that's going to stay in force while we get up to that high. Come on. Oh, thank you. And we're going to go down to here. So we're up to 51.87. Okay, which is just a little bit higher, not by not by a whole lot. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, again, we have the 5 waves up, so everything remains the same in terms of the internal count. So I'm going to bring this down to the 4-hour chart, open it up one more time, and now we're going to connect wave, put in for wave 5, but we're doing it on the minor degree first. Putting it up here, and what we have is both the 100% and the 618 exceeded, no longer valid. We take them off. So our next one is 5,072, and that happens to go pretty cleanly right up there with the C wave. Let me get rid of that one. That one does not need to be there. So also clean it up a little bit. So now we have our B, but then we have 100% for the C wave, and we have 1.618 for minor wave 5. So now we got one more that we're going to put in to give us some clues about where all this is going to end up. So 618, I'm leaving it because this high is right there is 5,066. It might present some resistance for us. So again, I'm going to bring this down to the 1 hour. I label them 1 and 2, but actually I should just, it should be A and B. In fact, I'll change that, not to make it confusing. It's just the way I kind of do things. But because I'm talking about that, it's going to be an ABC. Let me label it ABC. So there's a 5, 3, and a 5. So again, what can we expect from the futures market? Oh, come on. Go on here. I'm going to put in my fibs, retracements. So we have 5012, which we've already, we're basically at. Below that, we have 49.97, 49.98, and then 49.83. So it's not like we're looking for anything super here before we turn and rally again. But we have that potential, and that might just happen in Globex between now and Tuesday morning. Don't forget that the U.S. markets are closed on Monday for President's Day. Globex will be active and will be trading, but the regular session on Monday for the U.S. is closed. So again, we can come down in here and then start the rally. And AB, here we get A, and then we have ABC to bring it down, and I can throw another fib in there, but it all is going to coincide with what we got going on here. And then we're looking for the completion of the rally. So in both, we have, again, it's just above here, but we have a little bit of a cluster. And these go with the 5th wave, the 5th wave, and the C wave. So it's above 5116, but below 5300. So again, it's where they cluster. It's where they cluster. And that seems to be between 5167 and 5187 right now. Moving average-wise, everything's remaining in place as far as, in fact, all of my moving averages somehow got removed. So I don't know why that happened, but there they are. They're all gone. Let me go load moving averages. There they are. Okay, now they're all back on. So you can see the 200s, both the exponential and the simple, everything is heading higher. I'm going to bring it all the way down here. And I'm going to go here. They get a little mixed up in there, but they're acknowledging this selling, but still remain in line to go up all the way. All right, so that's really going to be it for the big picture update for the S&P 500. Now, what I'm going to be sharing with you is that a colleague, Sascha Gohring, has joined me in the trade room. And Sascha was did coaching with me, but we learned Elliott Wave and other methodology in reading the markets, and is really very good. I'm going to just state that, really very good. His primary market has been the NASDAQ. So he's going to be joining me, and we're going to do that recording for the big picture update for the NASDAQ as a way of introducing Sascha's work to YouTube. Now, what I will also add is that we have shifted our trade room. It is now on Discord. And so we're opening up the trade room for those others who may be interested in joining us as we basically day trade the NASDAQ and the S&P. So I'm going to finish this one up here. Keep an eye out. I'll also be publishing or posting the NASDAQ later on today. And so the next Elliott Wave update, I will be taking a look at the markets on Sunday for Globex to see what happens. But more likely, I'll be more interested in what Globex does on Monday. And so I probably, if warranted, I'll be making an update, an Elliott Wave update on Monday. And that will be February the 19th.